In this week's episode, we're going to take what we learnt from last week's experiment and we're going to make a build video using a water balloon. So last week we did the experiment with the water balloon where we tried to get the heat that's generated from the resin to pop the balloon. Now we did have success with that, but I think to take it a bit further this week, let's do it again but try and keep the balloon intact. Now you guys gave me some great suggestions as to what to do, and one that really stood out to me was having a hand at the bottom holding a piece of string tied to a balloon. So the first thing I did was ask Nicole for a hand, and this is what she gave me. Now she also said, don't wreck them. So the first thing I need to do is make copies of these hands. And I'm going to do that by using Art Sil. This is a 2-part silicone, so all I need to do is glue the hands down into a container, pour this over the top, and then I'll be able to make as many as I want. That's just a bit of mold release, so hopefully I can get these out and give them back to Nicole in one piece. When it comes to pouring your silicone, there's one good tip that I can give you, and that is pour slowly from a good height. That way you get a thin stream of silicone coming down and there's less chances of getting bubbles. Now all we have to do is leave this to cure and then we can pop them out. Now as you just saw, I had a little bit of trouble getting the hands out. It wasn't too bad, but if it did get any harder, I could cut a line down the side here. Now if you are going to do that, just make sure it's a zigzag line. That way it lines back up again for when you do your pour. So the hand really stands out in the casting. I'm going to add some purple and black pearl. Now I'll go pop these in the pressure pot, and then once they're set, we'll have ourselves some hands. Uh-oh. Well, that's no good. Well guys, as you just saw, I broke my first hand, so then I had to go with the zigzag cut. And as you can see here, once you've made the zigzag cut, it's really easy to line it back up again. So now that I have my hand made, I've got everything here to complete the build. I've got some fishing line, the hand, a water balloon, my casting container, and some epoxy. Now I'm using some deep cast epoxy for this one because we want to keep our heat generation really low. Because this week, unlike last week, I don't want to pop the balloon. I've gone ahead and mixed up my deep cast. Now for this pour, I won't be putting it in the pressure pot since I'm worried that the balloon may go a bit out of shape if it's under pressure. So we're going to do this one outside. Now because of that, I've degassed my resin to try and get as much air out as possible. Now there is a good chance we will get some air bubbles, but I'm willing to take that risk. I'm holding a lot of faith in this 5-minute epoxy to keep the hand stuck to the side. I really hope that when the balloon rises, it doesn't snap off. To limit the amount of bubbles we do get, I'm going to pour onto this stick. Well, it's looking good for now. Let's hope it can stay like that for the next 24 hours. Well guys, it's now the next day and I want to hear your predictions. What do you think happened? Do you think the hand snapped off? Do you think the balloon burst? Let me know in the comments. Okay guys, are you ready to see it? Check it out, it worked! The hand stayed into position, the balloon didn't burst, the water moves around perfectly. This thing looks amazing. Now let's take it out so we can have a closer look. Just give me a second, I just want to clean this up a little bit. Okay, are you ready to see it? Have a look at that. I reckon it turned out pretty good. I think this would make a cool nightlight as well. Well guys, that's it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you next time.